Welcome to the fucking show.
You posted something about Bill Gates the other day.
Mm-hmm. Well, y'all can get it all tonight.
You know what? Like, and you know, I try to be careful when I talk to Lebo. I'm like, man, I hate to sound like a conspiracy theorist.
Brother, go ahead.
You know what I mean?
You ask some questions.
Because that turns people off, and I want people to open up and get the information so they can decide for themselves.
Yes, sir.
But when you see Bill Gates stand in front of a room full of people and say that population control is something that's necessary and vaccinations is a tool that can be used to bring the numbers down.
Blatantly.
Instagram even put a disclaimer that it was taken out of context. Yeah.
Brother, listen, I never see Instagram say it's taken out of context when we're murdered by the police. I never, but people say that, well, no, it's just one, or, it's the system, we have, no, excuse me. Bill Gates said what he said. As a matter of fact, that's why that collage that was put together, that multiple clip collage of multiple interviews that he had, he said the same thing in different areas at different times, the same thing. He said it. So if you don't want to get it by now, maybe listen to the fact that he mentioned that his father was a part of Planned Parenthood. He said that in part of the interview, right there. Listen to the other part. If his father was a part of Planned Parenthood, what was the objective of Planned Parenthood? He said his father. Now you're talking about in the 30s now.
Right.
You're talking about someone by the name of Margaret Sanger, who's the founder of Planned Parenthood. What did she say the purpose was? Margaret Sanger, who was an honorary Klanswoman. Margaret Sanger, who used to give lectures at Klans rallies talking about the population of Negroes and particularly has to be lessened. Margaret Sanger, who said that, quote, Negroes are like human weeds and should be exterminated, end quote. Margaret Sanger, who in a black and white interview that everyone can go look up on YouTube right now with Mike Wallace, sat there and said that I believe that bringing a child, I believe the greatest sin is to bring a child into the world, end quote. You can go watch that on YouTube right now. Pause the video, go look at it, come back. And you're saying that reduction of population is the greatest thing that we should do. The number one problem right now in the world is population or overpopulation. You are a goddamn lie. You're literally a liar. There is over 196,940,000 square miles of planet Earth, 57,255,000 square miles of land, 139,685,000 square miles of water. Who the hell are you playing with? And you're telling me that 7.7 billion people occupy all of this land? No, we do not.
They scared of you,
You ever
bro.
drove through Texas?
They scared of that.
You can't fool us no more. You ever drove through Texas? You ever drove through Nevada? You ever drove through Oklahoma? How much empty space is out there? We ain't overpopulated. We are densely populated. Too many people are trying to live in a certain place. That's the problem. But there is tons of land, brother, all over this planet. It is plentiful. So knock off the depopulation tactics. And
what is it about?
That's it.
What's the reason?
When you realize that your mortality is much more near than far, when you realize that your overall existence as a human reality is coming to an end collectively, you are going to make some moves. So what people don't realize is, as Dr. Frances Cress Welsing said in her book titled The ISIS Papers, and this is something she debated people on all over this country and all over the world, and she never lost a debate. You're dealing with the war of genetic annihilation. White people are dying faster than they are being born. And this is according to the United States Census Bureau. They have determined that by the year 2042, white people will be the minority in America. They're currently the majority. We want to look at white people collectively and say, well, look, I got some white friends. They ain't like that. My wife is white. She ain't like that. You don't get it. It's the system of white supremacy.
Come on.
It ain't your woman.
Right.
Of course, she may not be that way. I got some colleagues. I know one or two white people that I grew up with who are not like that. You dealing with individuals in your mind.
Right.
It is a system that we understand, and the system is trying to survive.
And at the end of the day, that they benefit from the system.
Period.
And
whether if they choose to acknowledge that or not, they do. It was a system that was put in place to guarantee their superiority and everyone else's inferiority.
Right.
Period. The moment they realize that their numbers are dwindling when it comes to population growth is the moment they realize they had to do something about it. Hence the system of eugenics being established under Francis Galton, cousin to Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, man is an animal. Man came from monkeys. Nah. Y'all came from monkeys. Now, don't get mad at me getting mad at Charles Darwin. But the reality is his cousin is Francis Galton. Sir Francis Galton, meaning he was knighted. He's the one who came with the system system of eugenics. Eugenes, meaning good stock, good genetics. Anyone who is not blonde-haired, blue-eyed, is feeble-minded, life unworthy of living, should not be on this planet. That came from him. From him, you had the rest of the system that went from Nazi Germany. Adolf Hitler was inspired by California. Let's make this very clear. When it comes to shots, Adolf Hitler utilizing the system of eugenics and putting shots in people and all of that, that came from him being inspired by the system of eugenics being implemented here in the sterilization programs that were taking place in California on black women, brown women, and black men in particularly. So even when it comes to what happened in Nazi Germany, you got to look at the system of white supremacy. I don't know if y'all know that by now, but this is what we dealing with. So when you asking that question, what is the point? Why? If I recognize that I took a damn country and really a world roughly 6,000 years ago into where I am the superior being, I am the superior group. Again, not every white person today has done that. A lot of white people today can't stand the past of their ancestors. They do their best to get away from that.
Right.
But they have to be aware and be able to confront what it is that they're dealing with. This system does not want to give up power, bro.
It won't.
No, it will not as long as it exists. And the only way it's gonna give up power is if it dies, but it's gonna take down as many of us with it as it can. You dealing with a self-destructive devil. You gonna take me down? Nigga, I'm taking you down with me.